Hi everyone, it's Laura. Welcome back. We are doing something a little different again today. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a super long time, ever since we found out about it, really. We live in northeastern Connecticut, and the Brimfield Antique Flea Market takes place just over the border in Massachusetts, in Brimfield, Massachusetts. It's only about a 35-minute drive for us. This happens 3 times a year. They run this show in May, in July, and in September. And this is my first time going. We have planned to go many times before, and either we just don't have the money to buy anything to go, or something gets in the way. So I'm super excited. We have a little bit of money to spend, not much, but a little bit, and we have the time. So we're all gonna go as a family. The girls are coming with us, and we are heading to the Brimfield Antique Flea Market for the first time ever. I'm so excited. So before we get started, if you're new here, welcome. We'd love to have you get subscribed. On this channel, I do a lot of gardening, I do crafts, DIY projects, things like that. As we get into the fall and winter, I'm going to try to start branching out and doing other things. So stick around for all sorts of stuff. Anyway, so we're coming into Brimfield. I'm going to try to give you like a couple of tips along the way. Mostly, this will be a quick video and a very, very brief haul at the end. So first things first, we went super duper early. Everything that I read about Brimfield, I've been joined on a Facebook group for like over a year, just kind of following what happens there and how it works and everything. But really, you can't get a great idea of it until you actually go, for sure. I feel so much better about it now that we've gone. But definitely the number one tip is to go first thing in the morning. And at the end of this video, I will show you a clip of us leaving and the line of people waiting to just get into the town. So that's my number one tip. Go early in the morning. The show usually starts on like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, I believe, and it runs until a Sunday. We went on a Saturday, which is obviously going to be probably the busiest day. They did say there wasn't as much human traffic. That's not the right word. What I mean to say is there weren't as many people this time around as there have been. That's what the vendors were saying anyway. But then I guess it did pick up later in the day. Anyway, so Saturday is probably the busiest day. On Sundays, I hear that a lot of the dealers leave early, so it's not the best day to go, but I also hear that you can get some really good deals on Sunday. So next year, I may go twice, you guys, because like I said, we don't live that far, and now that I know how it works and everything, I think Sunday might actually be a good day to go. Especially if you are looking for deals, because another tip or just information thing is that a lot of this stuff is really expensive. At least in my eyes, this is way more of an antique show than it is like your typical flea market. The prices on these things are going to be usually a lot more than you're going to see at like a typical flea market. Of course, there is haggling or whatever. I want no part of that. That's why I brought my husband. He's going to handle all that stuff. So we got there just before 8 o'clock, which is, I think, like the official opening time. But it really just depends on the vendor. Whenever they want to open, they can. And it can be a little bit confusing and overwhelming when you're trying to learn about this place because it is huge. Basically, they have like different fields. Like, I don't even know how many. Probably 7, 8, 9, 10. I have no idea. They have a bunch of different fields, and within those fields are literally like hundreds of vendors. So from the street, it doesn't even look as big as it is. But once you go into the fields, it's like, oh my God, where am I? Some of the fields even have a separate admission price. There's no admission for the show in general, and there's no admission. When we went, we didn't see any fields that had an admission, but we did not go to everything. So some of the fields, they actually charge like a cover charge to go in there. So they must have like the best stuff in there. I don't know. But I was mostly on the lookout for like two things. I wanted to look for things for the goth garden, of course. So statuary, you know, I love a good goth statue. And then the other thing I was hoping to look for was vintage blow molds, either Christmas or Halloween. Halloween, obviously. So I was just looking for maybe one thing to bring home with me, really. And we did see quite a few vintage blow molds, but they were a little bit out of my price range, you guys. Most of them were priced between like $75 and $150, and that is just too much for me, unfortunately. And then as far as the statuary went, that was completely out of my price range. But we did end up finding something. I'll show it to you later in the video. It's very exciting. But for the most part, all of the statuary that we saw was way out of my price range, hundreds of dollars, which is not unreasonable. I'm not saying that. It's just I didn't know what to expect. So for me, I was like, oh man, kind of disappointed. This vendor in particular had some really beautiful pieces, a lot of cement, a lot of stone, a lot of iron, right up my alley. And let me take a chance here to shout out Drew, my husband. Thank you, Drew, for helping me film this video. He did a lot of the filming for this so that I could enjoy myself and walk around. So it is a little bit shaky, but you guys are cool, right? Thank you for helping me, Drew. So as the morning went on, it definitely started to get busy, like crazy busy. By the time we left, I was so glad that we came super early in the morning. I would never do it any other way. The weather was super nice. It was like 70 degrees, perfect weather for this. They have a show in July that just sounds so hot. And a lot of the time it will rain when they're at Brimfield. Now that I've been, I see how that might not be so bad. I'd actually prefer to go when it's raining rather than when it's super duper hot, because a lot of the tents are covered, so it's not affecting the merchandise that much. It's really just you that has to put up with the weather. They also have food. They had a bunch of food trucks. They had a whole area where you could go and sit and eat with tables and everything. The food is kind of like carnival style, so it's a lot of, you know, like heroes and Italian sausages. They do have one food truck that sells these Thanksgiving sandwiches. Is that what they're called? They might be called something else. But it's like it's like got all the fixings. It's like turkey, cranberry, stuffing, all the good stuff as a sandwich. It sounds amazing. I kind of really wanted one. But we went early in the morning, so it was too early for that. So anyways, you guys get the gist of it. It's like a giant flea market antique show. It's amazing. It's, I guess, like one of the biggest ones in the country. And it has been featured on that show Flea Market Flip before. I don't think that show's on anymore, but I remember seeing it on there a long time ago. I think that's when I was like, oh my gosh, I think that's near me. So you guys can see how insanely crowded it gets at the, we left honestly like around 10:30. You can see how crazy the traffic is. It went on forever. So I would not want to be trying to park my car at 10 o'clock. The parking, we ended up paying $10. It seemed like most of the places were $10, no matter where you were. So if you're parking a mile away, you're going to pay $10. If you're parking right in the middle of it all, you're going to pay $10 most likely. That was the tip that I found often on the Facebook group, was to park in the middle of everything. So that's what we did, and it worked out great. And we're back home now, so I'm ready to show you guys what I bought. I only got one thing. Much restraint was had. We went with cash, and I saw this piece along with a bunch of other things, and a lot of it was, I was thinking, this is not gonna, there's no way I can afford this. Anyway, most of the things were super expensive. This was marked as $100. It's a fountain. It's beautiful. It's got these little cherubs on it. And it has some cracks and some broken bits. but I love it. And so it was marked $100. I told Drew, I said, why don't you go and really lowball the guy? See if he'll take $50. Even though everything around it, like just like a normal statue, was marked like $75. It seemed not priced right. Anyway, so Drew went to talk to the guy. He comes back to me and he says that the guy actually wanted $200 for it. And I was like, okay, well, that's enough of that. So we started to leave, and then Drew says, let me just try one more time. I'm going to run back to that guy. And I'm like, okay, I don't think there's really any point, but okay. Not 5 minutes later, he comes hauling this guy out, and I'm like, oh God, what did he do? How much did he spend? Because sometimes he'll spend way more than I tell him to spend. $65, you guys. The guy said $65 now, and you can take it. And Drew was like, I'll take it right now. We brought the cart, like a garden cart with us, to haul stuff. So it actually fit in there. $65. Needs to get cleaned up a little. I don't want to go crazy cleaning it, but the top is like definitely needs some cleaning. We need to clean in here and try to get it working. We're going to try to get it working. This is where it's going to go, I think. I'm pretty sure we have this outlet box here for the pool, which we just took down. Maybe I'll show you guys some footage of that. So it's a good spot for it. And we have a new little wildlife friend. We have a tree frog that is living over here that we discovered when we were moving the pool. So anyway, they apparently like fountains, so maybe he'll move and live in the fountain. I'm going to insert a little clip of him because he's adorable. I did put him on here when we were working on the pool.
Hold the thing out.
He's going to have to scooch him a gooch. And then we can put you back. Anyway, so this is what we got. This is the haul. Just this guy. But I think I'm going to get him cleaned up. Hopefully we can get it working. But I'm not too worried if we can't. I'll just like maybe put like a solar bubbler or something in there. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway. So that's it. That's what we got. Really happy with the price of it, obviously. Happy with the whole trip. We had a ton of fun. The next show is in May. I'd like to try to go to that one. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me for this different video. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Good buddy. Yay. Perfect.